Tonight, we have breaking news as we come on the air. The life-threatening storm hitting multiple states right now. There are tornado watches as we come on. The highest level of severe tornado risk at this hour. States of emergency now in effect. 120 million Americans on alert for possible long-track tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds gusting up to 100 miles per hour. A blinding storm blamed for a massive pileup, more than 40 vehicles, big rigs blowing over in the wind. From the south into the Midwest and the Northeast, all bracing. Lee Goldberg timing this out. Also tonight, the harrowing images here, the engine on fire, passengers on the wing of an American Airlines jet. The engine began to vibrate just 30 minutes into the flight. They diverted to Denver, the flames then erupting while on the tarmac. The major development tonight, that Pittsburgh college student who disappeared on spring break. Tonight, the last person believed to see her alive, and the interview transcript in which he describes saving her in the ocean, making it to shore, and what he says is the last thing he remembers. Just in tonight, for the first time, ABC News obtaining the dramatic 911 call from a surviving student in the Idaho College murders, calling from the home.
Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
You will hear the call and the description of the scene. Tonight, President Trump at the Department of Justice with his new Attorney General suggesting his political enemies should be in jail. Tonight, the tense Senate vote to avert a government shutdown. We'll go live to the Hill. The war in Ukraine, and James Longman tonight with extraordinary access to the vast underground hospital treating injured Ukrainian soldiers and what they say about this U.S. push for a ceasefire and whether to believe Vladimir Putin. And tonight here, the baby boom, the baby giraffe and the baby leopard, 2 American zoos and 2 teams tonight caring for these very rare babies. And you'll see them.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with what authorities are warning is a life-threatening storm sweeping across several states tonight. There are tornado watches just issued. 120 million Americans in 20 states on alert from the south to the Midwest and the Northeast. Tornadoes and damaging winds with these storms up to 100 miles per hour. Tonight, they're expecting fierce winds and possible long-track tornadoes across the South and Midwest. And tomorrow, this continues. The highest level of severe tornado risk in the Deep South. And by Sunday, the severe storms hit the east. Already tonight, winds in Texas, look at this, up to 70 miles an hour, triggering blinding dust storms and fueling a fire in Lake Tanglewood. A family escaping a fire in Allen Reed, Texas, flames out the window and traffic backed up on the highway. 18-wheelers no match for the winds in Amarillo, Texas, toppling over north of Interstate 40. South of there, the dust storms blinding drivers, triggering a multi-vehicle crash on Interstate 27. This could be a very dangerous night ahead and the potential for long-track tornadoes tomorrow and straight-line winds. Lee Goldberg has the forecast, and Matt Rivers leading us off in St. Louis at this hour, where they're under a tornado watch right now.
Tonight, wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour, fueling out-of-control fires, walls of dust blinding drivers, and sending trucks flying in the Texas Panhandle.
There it goes. There goes another one.
Multiple 18-wheelers north of Interstate 40 in Amarillo falling like dominoes. Watch this man, along with a police officer, race to detach the trailer and save the front end of the truck.
Trying to put the jacks down so they can unhook and let it flip over without the truck on it. Smart.
It was no match for the wind.
There it goes.
Storm chaser Kirk Michelson on the scene of a horrific crash on Interstate 27 south of Amarillo, guiding victims to safety in his truck.
I made it.
Grass fires forcing families to evacuate the tiny town of Allen Reed.
Everybody go to the city of Allen Reed, please. City of Allen Reed. I'm hearing it's about to burn down. I need to get units there. I want eyes on.
Fire jumped.
Flames exploding in Lake Tanglewood, raging flames incinerating multiple homes. The winds marking the beginning of a potent multi-day severe weather outbreak that has more than half the country in its sights.
There is a heightened sense of alertness about this today. Yeah, we always take it seriously, but today there's kind of an additional push on it.
Missouri's governor declaring a state of emergency, St. Louis and its nearly 300,000 residents right in the crosshairs tonight. And David, tonight right here in downtown St. Louis, we are under a tornado watch through the rest of the evening. David?
All right, Matt Rivers right there in St. Louis for us. Matt, thank you. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our station WABC here in New York. And Lee, you're tracking the tornado watches up right now.
David, the severe weather outbreak is getting underway this evening. It's a dangerous couple days ahead. And if you're in the path of the storms we're about to mention, have a plan to get to a place of safety and please be weather aware. The tornado watches till 11 o'clock, St. Louis to Springfield, and another one to the south till 10 o'clock from Greenville to Baton Rouge. But it's the Midwest all the way to the deep south tonight. That's where we have the bullseye. St. Louis between about 9 and 11 o'clock tonight. 100-mile-per-hour winds possible, strong tornadoes, even baseball-size hail. Then tomorrow, a rare and urgent high risk for a tornado outbreak, Mississippi and Alabama, from Jackson to Birmingham. These could be very dangerous with 80-mile-per-hour gusts and long-track violent tornadoes. The storms move into Georgia and into the Florida Panhandle at night. Then East Coast by Sunday. Maybe some severe weather from Jacksonville to the Carolinas. Heavy rain for the Northeast and gusty winds. David?
Lee Goldberg with us tonight. Could be a very dangerous weekend, so everyone stay tuned to the forecast. Lee, thank you. We turn now to the engine fire on an American Airlines flight from Colorado Springs to Dallas. The flight reporting engine trouble. Just 30 minutes into the flight, the engine vibrating. Diverted to Denver, then the engine erupting in flames after landing. Passengers and crew forced to evacuate, some down slides and others you can see stranded on the wing of the plane. ABC's Mola Lenghi at the airport in Denver tonight.
Tonight, this terrifying scene on the tarmac. An American Airlines jet catching fire after diverting to Denver. Black smoke pouring into the air. A dozen injured. Flames and smoke visible from inside the cabin. The Boeing 737 was traveling from Colorado Springs to Dallas-Fort Worth yesterday afternoon when, 30 minutes into the flight, the crew reported engine vibrations.
We just have a high engine vibration, so we are cruising slower than normal for American 10,006.
The engine catching fire at the gate, forcing 178 passengers and crew to evacuate.
Oh my gosh.
Some seen on the wing of the plane, others escaping down a slide. 12 passengers taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Burn marks later seen on the fuselage.
This was a situation involving a mechanical malfunction of the engine in flight that did not really erupt into flames until it got on the ground. Fortunately, the crew did exactly the right thing and got the airplane on the ground as rapidly as possible.
Well, David, in a statement, American Airlines thanking their crew and first responders for their quick actions here at Denver Airport. They say everyone has been released from the hospital, and tonight the FAA and NTSB are investigating the incident, David.
Well, they're so lucky they got that plane on the ground before that happened. Mola, thank you. There is news in the search for the 20-year-old Pittsburgh college student who vanished on spring break in the Dominican Republic. Tonight, the last person believed to see her alive. In the interview transcript here, in which he describes saving her in the ocean, making it to shore, and what he says is the last thing he then remembers. Ariel Reshef in the Dominican Republic again tonight.
Tonight, more than a week after she vanished, new details in the case of missing 20-year-old college student Sadiksha Kananki from the last known person to see her. According to a transcript obtained by ABC News, 22-year-old Joshua Reeby, who is not considered a suspect, told officials here in the Dominican Republic he and Kananki had just met that night and stayed behind together on the beach after a night of drinking with their friends. Reeby allegedly told investigators they were kissing in the ocean and were slammed by a large wave, adding they both struggled in the water and he tried to save her. I was holding her under my arm and swimming. It was hard. I was a pool lifeguard, not the ocean. He said he got her to shore and last saw her walking at an angle in knee-deep water. According to the transcript, Reeby telling officials, I asked her if she was okay. I didn't hear her response because I began to vomit with all the seawater I had swallowed. After vomiting, I looked around and I didn't see anyone. Then saying he passed out on the beach and awoke thinking she had gone inside. Hotel cameras capturing him returning to his room later that morning. Dominican authorities say this is not a criminal investigation. Reeby interviewed as a witness. Police sources have told ABC News from the beginning they believe Kananki drowned. But still, the painstaking search goes on, and they aren't ruling anything out.
And David, the Reeby family issuing a statement tonight saying he is dismayed by Sadiksha's disappearance, and they want to continue to contribute to the search effort, but they also want their son to be allowed to return back to the United States from the Dominican Republic, where they say he's been detained.